Right, March 2022. Hello guys, I thought to share my March planning a bit in advance so that you can get some ideas for yours. I try various ways to find what works best for me, so today I will share how and why I review my February results, set plans for March, set a sprint for March, plan for implementing new habits, and how to find time to implement all of that in my life. The first thing I do is I look back at the previous stage of my life. I share this idea in my yearly planning as well. So here, as I'm planning for March, I look back at my February, and here I do 4 things. First of all, I list achievements, highlights, interesting ideas and thoughts. I would normally do a global one in the end of the year, but then I thought, why to wait? While my memory is fresh about February and while I remember small but interesting and important things in context of day-to-day, I would like to put them down and appreciate and also come later in the end of the year when I do a whole year summary. I really believe that it's not only the big things that matter a lot, it's also small things that make our day-to-day life interesting, exciting and full. The next thing I do is I remember what did I learn during February. We may not recognize it, but we do learn a lot. It's not only the bad lessons from our failures, it's also good lessons from our successes, and of course the formal learning as well. I learned that the outside perspective can be really important. Recently I was filming a reel, walking with the camera sideways, and my husband was observing this, and suddenly he told me, why are you going sideways, which is not comfortable, when you can actually move your camera to side and go forward so that the motion is more smooth. And I realized that, well, that's indeed a very simple idea that was so obvious from outside, but it wasn't really that obvious for me in the moment. Next, I think of the things I would like to leave in February, and it's not to highlight the failures or find bad things in previous months. It's more about trying to figure out what can I do with them so that I don't take them in my next month. And of course, step number 4 is what do I want to take with me. There are definitely a lot of things that I would like to continue doing in March as well. Right, next I start planning for March, and first of all I outline the things which are already known. For example, I know when our parents are going to visit us, I know some of the appointments I have to do, and I would like to make sure I put them in my plan so that whenever some new opportunities come in, I know how and why I move them or accept them or maybe decline or postpone them, so that I make sure that I work on my priorities first. The next thing I do is I put all the important meetings, appointments, deadlines in the calendar so that I don't forget about them and don't miss them. In fact, I usually put them as soon as I know about them, so here in most cases I do just check. And of course I have some appointments which are regular, so they are already in my calendar. The next thing I do is I decide on habits I would like to implement in March or I would like to sustain in March. And some people say it's easier to have it visually, like in digital format or maybe in paper, but honestly I just keep them in my mind. Maybe it's something I need to think about. I phrase my habits so that they are clear and doable. So in March I would like to sustain my reading habit, and here I'm writing I will read 10 pages per day lying in bed before sleep. So first of all, I can easily evaluate it, so did I read 10 pages or I didn't? And secondly, I have a setup, so in bed before sleep, no ambiguity and clear and easy to do. And here I would like to mention that tracking habits is very good, but by no means it has to put pressure on you. So it's more like a reminder to keep working on the tracker and bring this positive change to your life. And if I miss one day of reading, which is totally normal, it's life, I won't be pressured or I won't be discouraged. I will just continue working on my habits from the next day. And this is a good idea to have a plan B. So for every habit I have, I'm thinking of plan B for the times when I can't just do that habit. So for example, when I miss reading during one day, I just set a reminder the next day to read, and I will not add extra pages because I don't want this pressure to build up. I just want to create positive change in my life. During March, I would like to start working on my posture, and I would like to implement this habit for a long run. Usually I try to implement 1 or 2 new habits and 1 or 2 habits to sustain. Now I feel that I have capacity for one new habit, so posture, and one habit to sustain, so it's reading. Okay, and now it can be a bit unusual. I will show you how I plan for my short goal, or other words, in sprint. In one of the previous videos, I shared that during this year I would like to spend some time reorganizing, refreshing and decluttering my home. And March is the month when I would like to do this. So the difficulty, or maybe actually a beauty of the situation, is that we are renting the place we are living in. So I won't be able to do a lot. On the other hand, 3 weeks would be really enough to make some visible changes. So the March sprint will last for 3 weeks. It's 3 weeks of concentrated work on some of the goals, and I write actions for every week in advance so that I know what I have to do. And we start with week 1. It's a time when I first of all would like to declutter. So I would like to sell, give away or recycle things that I don't need in our home and I don't want them in our home. And I would like to leave just things that are really necessary and which are important for us. And the next thing, I would like to specify the areas which I would like to focus on during the next 2 weeks and specify exactly what would I like to change there. During week 2, I would like to work on inspiration and I would like to create mood boards for every area that I identified. I would like to start searching for some items online and see if they fit in my vision, and I see if I can actually implement something that I would like. I would also start making decisions and purchasing the items that I selected. During week 3, I would start purchasing items and implementing my ideas in our home. And last week of March is not part of the sprint, but it's time when I actually look back at my month, do a review and just have a bit of rest and don't take on any new actions, any new activities. Now you may think that it can be very hard to find time for some additional activities and squeeze them in, but sometimes I feel like I can't not try them and I can't not experiment. So I start thinking how to find time. Give me a thumbs up if you would like me to have a separate practical video on how to find time for everything, and I will share my process. For now, I would like to share an idea that we start working with what we already have. If I have just 1 hour per week, I will start with just that 1 hour and I will plan some new activities, experiments, or working on my goal during that 1 hour, because 1 hour per week, so around 4 hours per month, and in the end of the year I would have more than a week of experiments or more than a week of going towards my goals and dreams. Okay guys, I hope you found something interesting and useful in this video and could implement some of the ideas into your planning. I see you in the next one.